Okay, so we finished the first request from the viewer. And our second request, if you'll remember, she wanted white background, rustic home with exposed wood and old tin, earth tones, dark taupe, sand, leather brown, chestnut, dark walnut, warm and caramel. So we've already got our dark taupe and our sand in here. Kind of when I got through the rest of the emails that she wants a vein to kind of come across, but she wants a very soft vein that kind of blends and more like a cut of a slab where the colors just kind of are very, very soft. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off, and I'm gonna start off with, let's see. Let's do a dark taupe. That's a nice neutral color that's already in there that we can kind of set our pattern. Take a stick, not even cleaning it. I just pulled it straight out of our clear epoxy. All I'm gonna do now is kind of see in my mind where I think this vein wants to go. And I think I'm gonna kind of come across and kind of go this way. And when I do a vein, I don't like to do a squiggly vein because it's already gonna have movement when I start using my heat gun. And if you start adding squiggly veins like this, it just doesn't look as natural. So I do want this vein to kind of branch out here. And I want it to really get super soft here, almost like it's just fading into the slab. All right, so this will be our color. All right, so I like that. All right, so before I continue with the vein, what I want to do is she said she did want a few like little marbly lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with a white, and I'm going to add just some fracture lines, and I'm going to fracture it with the pearl white mica powder combination. So I'm just going to, and I'm not going to do this all over the board. I'm just going to do it a little bit. And the reason I'm doing it now as opposed to after I do my vein, because I don't want my alcohol to interrupt my vein. So I'm just going to lightly fog, very lightly, and I'm going to hit it with some alcohol. Not only am I doing it early so that I don't mess up my vein, but also this is really gonna move quite a bit, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna come over here a little bit. And then I'm gonna tone it down just a tiny bit with my taupe, just very softly. And all I'm doing is kind of adding some interest into the piece. All right, so let's just, now that we got this doing its own thing over here, we can definitely come back and play with it. But one other thing I am gonna do, I'm really liking these drips that I have. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna pour, and I'm gonna make me some fracture lines. Now these fracture lines are gonna eventually soften very, very soft. It's gonna almost just be hidden. But it does give a really neat effect. And we can even come over here and add a little bit of color to it. And now drip that across, and now we've got a fracture line with some color. All right, okay, so I really like that. In fact, I'm actually gonna bring some of that in to my vein. All right, so now let's start focusing on the vein. And I'm gonna bring in a little darker color. Remember, she said she had exposed wood, so she does want a little bit of earth tones. Again, I'm kind of going into that same pile of color. And I'm just gonna bring that color in, and it's sort of fading. I'm not adding any more color to my stick. Now I had a little bit of overspray from my paint, so I'm just gonna take my hand. I'm just gonna kind of marble this out a little bit. All right, so let's see. Let's come in with a little bit of khaki. And like I said, I'm bringing this vein out so that it gets a little softer. Okay, so we're coming in with some chestnut. Just a little bit. And I really want to add some darker elements. So I'm going to come in with a dark walnut. Oh yeah, I like that. And then I'm just kind of bringing that in here. Okay, so let's move it a little bit with our heat gun. Soften it now. With my heat gun, I want to take that color and almost run it out to where it becomes very, very faint, very translucent. So I don't have a real distinct vein. All right, remember, we don't want to get our epoxy too hot. I lose control. I think I'm going to bring some white in to the picture here. If I can find my can of white. Here we go. Now white can really take over a piece very quickly. So you want to be very cautious when you bring in your white. And I think I'm actually going to borrow a little bit of this color. And I'm going to run it on down into this area here. Kind of give it a little different look on this side of the vein. Soften these lines here up just a little bit. All right. Okay. And then she also had mentioned that she liked the color warm caramel. So we'll add a little bit of that. I'm not sure if maybe she has an accent in her house that's maybe this color, but she did specifically ask for that color. I'm just going to add a little bit. I don't want it to take over my vein. Okay. Now this vein, this little color vein that I did a while ago, kind of cut through here. I don't like that. I'm just going to take my hand, kind of erase that. This is really going to blend in nice. I really like that. All right, so let's heat gun again. Because I'm spreading these colors out with my heat gun, I'm making them very translucent. And I really like how this side of the vein is almost blending in, and the other side staying a little more distinct. And then those lines, I'm going to soften those lines. Oh yeah, I really like that. Now I'm going to heat up these veins that I drizzled, and because I'm heating them up, they'll move. So probably you won't see that within the next hour or two, but by tomorrow, after it moves all night, those lines will soften very, very soft. Be distinct, but they'll be very soft, and they really look natural. Wow. Okay, I'm really liking this. I'm thinking I want to do a little bit with this area here. I think I'm going to hit it with some bigger areas of alcohol. So I'm going to put it in my hand, and I'm going to come over here being very careful not to interrupt my vein. Yeah, that's kind of cool looking. And I got a little bit of alcohol when I sprinkled it on the vein, but I just fixed it. So guys, I really like how this is getting transparent here. Now I have a tiny bit of diamond dust left in my cup, and I'm going to heat it up just a little bit, just so it's a little more fluid. And I'm going to actually add a little of this diamond dust into the vein. That's going to look really cool. Now remember, when you add epoxy into your vein, as opposed to spray paint, The epoxy, because it's going to self-level, is going to spread out your vein a little bit. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to put some diamond dust in that vein. Oh yeah, that's going to look really, really neat. Oh wow, cool. I really like that look. I'm going to come pick up a little bit more of this epoxy. It's starting to get really set up, so I need to let it start to drip before I put it in the vein so I can really get that thin line. Okay. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I think I'm kind of liking this, guys. Well, what do you think? Where would you stop? Would you continue to add color to this? Would you work a little more in your corners, adding a little more visual to that? Or would you have stopped a long time ago? So let me know what you think in the comments below. I think I'm gonna call it quits. That is so hard for me to do, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. If you like what you saw in this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. Remember, don't be scared, move forward, and be creative.